Thanks. Good morning, everybody. So thanks to Gare there for our State of the Dolphin. I guess this is my opportunity, right, for me to show the State of the Swan. So for the people who are not familiar with Continuent and who we are, you might have thought we'd been asleep for a little while. I promise you, honestly, we have not been asleep. We've just had a bit of an interesting ride, right? We've had a bit of a journey for the last few years. We were bought by VMware. And we were helping them out with their database as a service operation. And that was an interesting ride. I know from looking around the room that there are people here that are familiar with the corporate world and what working in a corporate environment is like. And I have to say it was quite interesting for a time. We did do a lot of interesting stuff at VMware. Not a lot of it made it out. And that's obviously something that hopefully we are trying to change. And we are going to make a little bit different as we go forward. So I think one of the key things is, Continuent as a company, we've always had some very, very simple goals and some very, very simple beginnings and some basic technology that we want to make everybody aware of. And this has led to us to having a few specific items that we concentrate on and that we specialize in. And I'm going to talk about those, but I'm also going to talk about some of the stuff that we're doing, right? When we talk about many faces, I want to talk about the stuff that we do that we have not yet told you about. And if we look back, right, replication for Continuent has been probably one of our most important products that we have ever produced. We do replication, and we do replication both natively for MySQL, so we can do MySQL to MySQL, but more importantly, we do heterogeneous replication, right? We can take your information from MySQL, and we can put that out onto Oracle, we can put that out into Elastic, to Vertica, to Redshift, we can move that data about. This has always been important to us. It wasn't where we actually first started. We first started with dealing with HA and DR, and what we did is we kind of made our replication story our underpinning, right? We wanted to make it a key part of the rest of our solution because we knew that moving that data about was going to be the most effective way of helping our customers and helping them achieve it. So we replaced standard MySQL replication for you and then obviously added a few features. We've been doing that for a long time. Tungsten Replicator is 9, I think, this year. Happy birthday to Tungsten Replicator. We think it's a great product. I continue to be amazed at what we can do. I can tell you yesterday we were working on a problem for a customer and we discovered something that we actually developed 4 years ago, worked perfectly with a brand new extractor for Oracle without any changes. And I think that speaks to the power of the replicator and how flexible and how practical it was that we were able to do that. But obviously, we've got a lot of other stuff that we like to make available within the replicator. We are adding new stuff all the time. I know some people in the room came to my talk yesterday. We're going out to Elasticsearch, we're going out to Kafka, we're adding new appliers, we're doing other stuff. I'm not going to talk about that yet, I'm just going to keep you waiting just for a second. But obviously, the core of our product, core of our technology is actually the clustering. So we do full MySQL clustering, and we've been doing this for a long, long time, longer than we have been doing the core replication. Originally, we weren't actually a MySQL shop. We were doing that originally with Postgres. We ultimately moved to MySQL because we saw where the market was moving. What's interesting now, of course, is lots of people are now moving back to Postgres, and that's a different discussion to have over a good drink. But we do everything that you would expect with a standard cluster. We handle the automatic failover, we handle the automatic switches, we can do your upgrades and your reconfiguration, your schema upgrades, etc. We can handle that and manage that properly with the cluster. But there are some components in that clustering solution that are important to us, right? And those two components are outside of the replicator are the manager and the connector. And those two components are really, really, really key to the way that we do the rest of the business. The manager is very intelligent, it's completely rule-based, enables us to be able to make determinations and say, hey look, this node has gone down, or this node is unavailable, this node is temporarily unavailable, let's take it out of the cluster, and then let's tell the connector that what we want to do is we want to redirect all of our queries somewhere else. We want to send our queries over to a different set of nodes. We want to redirect your queries. We can even do that across sites, right? So we do cross-site replication. You want to do multi-site and multi-master across different sites. We do that. But this is all technology that we have now, and that we have been making available to our customers now. And we have a whole variety of customers using this in different ways. We have customers who are doing this for live customer relationship management style scenarios. We have people who are doing this for sales. We have people who are using our replication technology. We have a big company that are replicating data out of Oracle, and they're putting it into MySQL because MySQL is cheaper on the edge. Right? Nobody wants to run a website with Oracle on their edge, because the bottom line is Oracle is expensive. Right? Who wants to run Oracle as the backup to your website when I could do it with 10, 15, 20, 30 MySQL servers and have that handled that way? So all of this technology is available to us, and one thing that I think we have learnt, and we have perhaps learned maybe the hard way over the last few years of going into VMware and ultimately coming out of VMware again, is we've kind of discovered that there's a bunch of technology that somehow we're not making the best use of. Right? We have all of this functionality, we have all of these great products, but somehow we're not hitting the things that we know our customers would really, really need and want. So we've been hatching some new plans. So excuse the cute picture, but we have been hatching some new plans. We've been sitting back, looking at our products, trying to understand what it is that our customers really, really need, and trying to understand exactly what that means. So the best place to start for that, talking about the things that I've kind of already mentioned, right? We know what we've got already. We've got a really, really powerful replication platform. Really, really powerful. We can go from MySQL and Oracle, we can go to all of these different targets. We automatically handle the fact that obviously you may not be writing to a database. Obviously, if you're going into Kafka, you're not writing to a database. We also handle that if you are going to a database, we try and make the best use of that target database. So a great talk yesterday on replicating into MongoDB. Obviously, we do some great things in MongoDB. There are some things that we can improve. And obviously, all of the things that we do in terms of batch loading, getting data in. We've been doing some performance statistics on the replicator. We can load millions and millions of records into Vertica with the replicator and do fan-in replication from multiple sources. That's a really powerful tool if you happen to be doing analytics. You've got lots and lots of servers. You want to concentrate all of that data down. Then we've obviously got the connector. Connector actually, we use it primarily for our clustering and our MySQL solution. But in actual fact, the connector is a very good generic proxy, and it could be used for doing other things as well. We're looking at ways that we can do that. And obviously we've got the manager. And the manager is that glue, that piece that enables us to manage the rest of those components and do things intelligently. So what could we come up with that we knew would hit our customers and hit those customer pain points? So I'm pleased to say that what we've got, I'm going to tell you about two things initially that we are working on. Both of these will be coming out first half of next year. In fact, I fully expect everybody, how many people are going to San Francisco next year? Well, I know you're going. So San Francisco next year, obviously the Percona conference, I want to be able to stand up and be telling you that these things are available. The first thing that we're doing is we're building a brand new backup solution. And the idea is to take our technology that we have the knowledge to be able to get data out of your database into a format that enables us to make it accessible, right? And we want to be able to take things out and give you the option of a logical backup, a physical backup, and we want to give you the ability to be able to combine those in ways that hit your pain points in terms of being able to get that data back. So we want you to be able to restore it. We want you to be able to restore a single table. We want you to be able to restore a full set of tables, a full server. We want you to be able to take that information and put it back and recover it into a place so that you can get your website, your application, whatever it is, back up as quickly as possible. More importantly, we want to do this in such a way that you can go back to a specific point in time, right? How many times have you sat there and gone, I really need to rerun that report that came out, that needed to come out at the end of last month, and I can't do it because all of the data has changed. Or I need to do my end of quarter, I need to do my end of year. I need to restore my database to before that moment when I accidentally did delete star from table name, right? Hands up if you've ever done that in the room. So, you know, we want to make that accessible. We also want to make sure that this is practical from the perspective that we want to get this back onto your chosen database platform. And it doesn't have to be the same one again. Right? We want this to go back to your MySQL, if that happens to be what it is. Well, say you've been extracting your data from Oracle, you want to put it back onto Oracle, we want you to be able to do that. But how about if you've taken it out of Oracle and you want to put it back onto MySQL? Or how about if you want to have taken it out of Oracle and MySQL, and ultimately you want to apply it into your analytics platform because that's where you want to run your job? This is what we're working on right now. And behind all of that, a management platform that will enable you to know that you've taken a backup. Know that your backup is working. Know that your backup is able to be recovered and applicable back into where it should go. And all of these features and functionalities will be available straight in that first version that comes out that we're working on right now, and that will be free. Right? We're going to make this just available to everybody. Anybody who wants to use Tungsten Backup, it's going to be out there and available. Now, the other thing that we want to do is I want to make use of that connector. I have for a long time said at Continuent, I've been at Continuent for 5 years now, the connector is probably our most valuable property from the perspective that it is the thing that makes everything else work. The manager manages the platform, the replicator replicates data, but the connector is the bit that tells the application where it's supposed to be talking to all the time, and more importantly, tells the application that it doesn't have to worry about where it's talking to. So we want to make that connector something that is now standalone. And we want to make that into a standalone generic proxy. So this is functionality already built into the connector, we just don't actually make it available as a standalone component. So we get all of the features and functionality that you would be familiar with a standard proxy, so we can redirect pretty much anything. We can put our proxy in front of MySQL, we can put it in front of Oracle, Postgres, Vertica, Kafka, Cassandra, you name it. We have no problem with what you want to put it in front of, and we will automatically handle everything that the connector currently handles. You want to do read-write splitting, you want to be able to distribute your load among multiple servers, you want to handle all of that process and handle it automatically. The connector does that, and it actually does that already. We will be making that available as a standalone. Now, the really interesting thing is that built into the connector is also the ability for session support, so that is, we can automatically identify your sessions so that we can redirect your queries to the right host for doing sessions, and we're also replication aware. So we know that when you've replicated data over to a new host, and so therefore we can tell you whether you should be able to read from a particular slave or send your query to the master because we know it hasn't been replicated yet. Again, that's functionality that is in the replicator now and is available as part of our clustering. We're just going to make that available to everybody as a standalone component. And then perhaps more importantly, next layer down, MySQL and Postgres, if you want to be able to do that read-write splitting and you want to go in and have a look at your SQL queries and you want to know, you want to automatically redirect those queries to the right host based on that content, based on that session ID information, based on what that process is doing. So whether you're doing a select or whether you're doing a select for update, whether you're doing an insert, etc., we would also do that, and we can do that for MySQL and Postgres right now. Again, this is coming out next year. We will make it available to everybody. And then, last thing I want to talk about, right, we've got some super secret projects that we're working on. And just between, you know, the few hundred people in the room right now, just so that you know what we're doing, we are extending the way that we will make our products work. So the key thing is we actually have a REST API in our products now, but we don't make them available. We're going to make that open and available for everybody to use, and that's going to give us a whole new bunch of information and capability and support. We're going to be able to make it easier to do the processing. We're going to make it easier to build a UI on top of that information. And indeed, we're going to be providing a UI. So if you want to manage replication, you want to manage replication for 10, 20, 100 hosts, we can do that. We're also going to be improving our deployment models. And we're also going to be adding functionality into the replicator so we can replicate out of pretty much any database to any database that you want. So I've had someone come up to me, I can't see him in the room right now, he came up and said, I want to be able to replicate out of Cassandra. Oh, there we go. We're going to be able to do that next year, right? If you want to be able to replicate out of unstructured data again, we're going to be able to do that next year. And this is going to be in the replicator. Obviously going to be part of our open source initiative, trying to make this accessible and available. More importantly, right, for everybody in the room, we want to make sure that you are along for the ride and we want to make sure that you're excited. So hopefully we're all going to be these big, great big happy swans, right? Feeling excited, feeling about, interested about what we can do in terms of moving our data about, getting our data into the databases that we want, and making our pain go away on areas like backup and redirection for our queries and applications. And that's it. Thank you very much for your time, everybody. Enjoy the rest of the conference.